It was a ship built to withstand anything, but trapped in the ice, the Endurance faced its greatest test. This is the incredible story of Ernest Shackleton and the ship that refused to sink.
Imagine this. You are more than 1,500 kilometers from the nearest civilization. No roads, no rescue helicopters, no radio that can call for help. Only endless white ice, stretching to the horizon. The temperature falls below 30 degrees Celsius. Your food is running out. Your ship, the only thing standing between you and death, begins to groan. Wood cracks beneath your feet. A loud bang echoes through the frozen silence. Then another. The ice is crushing the ship, slowly, relentlessly, like the grip of a giant hand. Your captain looks at you. He doesn't shout. He doesn't pack. He simply says, "Abandon ship." The ocean is frozen. The land is hundreds of kilometers away. There is nowhere to go. No one is coming. Most stories end here. This one is only beginning. In 1914, explorer Ernest Shackleton announced one of the boldest expeditions ever attempted. His goal was simple to describe and almost impossible to achieve. Cross Antarctica, from one side to the other. No one had ever done it. The expedition's ship was named Endurance. Its motto seemed almost prophetic. By Endurance we conquer. 27 men signed up. They knew the journey would be dangerous. None imagined how history would remember them. At first, the voyage went according to plan. The crew laughed, played football on the ice, photographed penguins, hunted seals. They believed the worst lay ahead. They were wrong. One January morning, the Endurance stopped moving. The sea had frozen around it. The ship wasn't anchored. It was imprisoned. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. Every attempt to break free failed. The ice only tightened its grip. Imagine hearing your home scream. Every night, the pressure increased. Timbers bent. Iron bolts snapped. The deck twisted. The men lay awake, listening, waiting, wondering if tonight would be the night the ship finally gave way. Then, on the 27th of October 1915, Shackleton gave the order. Ship and stores have gone. The Endurance was lost. The men stepped onto floating sea ice. Their home disappeared beneath the frozen ocean. Now they had no ship, no shelter, no map to safety, only hope. The ice was never still. Every day it drifted, sometimes carrying them closer to land, sometimes farther away. The men built tents, shared tiny meals, melted ice for water, played games to keep their spirits alive. Shackleton understood something many leaders forget. If hope dies, people follow. So he made sure they laughed, celebrated birthdays, shared stories, maintained routines. Leadership became as important as food. Months later, the ice finally broke apart. The men escaped in lifeboats and reached Elephant Island. For the first time in nearly 2 years, they stood on solid ground. But they were still stranded. No ships passed there. No one even knew they were alive. Shackleton made a decision almost everyone thought impossible. With 5 companions, he would sail a tiny open lifeboat across one of the roughest oceans on Earth, more than 1,300 kilometers, towering waves, freezing storms, no modern navigation. One mistake, and everyone would disappear forever. For 16 terrifying days, the tiny boat battled the Southern Ocean. Mountains of water crashed over the crew. Ice coated their clothes. Sleep became almost impossible. Every hour felt borrowed. Finally, land appeared, South Georgia Island. But another problem awaited. They had landed on the wrong side. Between them and the whaling station stood mountains, never crossed before. Shackleton and 2 companions climbed them anyway, without detailed maps, without climbing equipment, without certainty they would survive. When the exhausted men finally reached the whaling station, the workers stared in disbelief. They looked like ghosts. Months later, after several failed rescue attempts caused by sea ice, Shackleton returned to Elephant Island. The stranded men saw a ship on the horizon. At first, they couldn't believe it. Then they recognized their captain. After nearly 2 years trapped in one of the harshest places on Earth, every single member of the Endurance expedition was rescued alive. Not one had been left behind. Many expeditions discovered new lands. Others broke records, but few demonstrated leadership like Shackleton's. He never completed his original mission. By that measure, he failed. Yet history remembers him as one of the greatest leaders ever to live, because success isn't always reaching your destination. Sometimes, success is bringing everyone home. The Endurance disappeared beneath Antarctic ice, but its greatest legacy wasn't the ship. It was the people, the courage to endure, the discipline to stay united, the refusal to surrender, even when survival seemed impossible. More than a century later, the frozen sea still whispers their story, not because they conquered Antarctica, but because they conquered despair.
This has been an Emfone original. Stories that time never forgot.